What is life? What is life? Hey, what's up you guys? It's Judie here with my life as Kikay, and welcome to today's video. I just wanted to sit down, put on some makeup, and get ready for the day and have a chat to you guys. On this channel, I create videos on product reviews, makeup tutorials, and lifestyle advice with the aim to entertain, educate, and enrich the lives of others. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love for you to join the Kikay family, and if you're returning here to my channel, then welcome back. Like I said before, I'm just getting ready for the day. I'm gonna put some makeup on my face because I've got a few errands to run, and in the process have a chat to you guys. Since this is not a makeup tutorial video, I'm just gonna leave all the products that I use in the description box down below, but I do want to try and utilize a lot of the new makeup that I've got. So I have one specific topic that I want to talk about in today's Chatty Get Ready With Me video, and that is how I am dealing with life and how I am coping since my separation from my husband, and how I'm coping with life, how I'm dealing with my grief, and how I am moving on in the most healthy manner that I possibly can. And I'm already getting emotional. I just wanted to get a few things off my chest and have a talk about life with my friends. Now, I don't know if me and my current scarred emotional state is going to be actually a lot of help to other people, but even in the 7 months that I have been separated, I have learned a lot of things, and I have been incredibly aware of the things that are developing and how I am developing emotionally as a person, and how I am moving on and dealing with all the emotional trauma. Not really trauma, maybe emotional pain and heartbreak that I have been going through. So I don't know if this video is going to be helpful to any of you guys, because this is me merely talking about my experience. I know that everybody deals with their grief differently, everybody has different ways of moving on, but I wanted to share the coping mechanisms that I am implementing in my life to be able to allow myself, or help myself, to move forward in the most healthy and helpful and beneficial way possible. So I'm gonna try and get through this without crying. I probably will, but I'm not gonna apologize for that because I'm human as well, and I don't think any of you would be asking me to apologize for crying on camera. I'm just gonna get straight into it. As you see, I've already dived straight in. I have a few things to do today, so I just wanna get ready and have a chat to you guys in the process. So this video is going to be about how I am dealing with the ending of my long-term relationship / marriage. You guys said that you wanted a more wearable look using the Morphe 39S palette. I probably will do another makeup tutorial with this as well, but for today I'm just going to be having a little bit of a play with it. I want to do a wearable makeup look using these colorful shadows and just have a play, see what I come up with. So first of all, like I said before, it has been 7 months since my husband and I separated. Our relationship ended very quickly towards the end of 2018, and I did not see it coming, or maybe I was choosing not to see it coming. Now looking back, there were telltale signs of the relationship not working, but I didn't see them as deal breakers because I thought that we could work anything out. Obviously not. So throughout the year of 2019, well, I kind of got slack after I moved, but I had been doing life vlogs, like vlog diary entries, like a diary entry, but saying it on camera, if that makes any sense, because I don't write very much anymore. I used to keep a diary, and then that all went kaput after my mom found my diary one day when I was 18 years old, and that is a whole other story. That freaking turned my life upside down. But anyway, I'm not talking about that today. I was wondering if you guys would be interested in seeing on January 1, 2020, my life vlog of 2019, like how I've been dealing with my breakup on the day. So I know this is like how I'm dealing with my breakup right here, right now, but the life vlog is basically documenting how I'm going on that particular day, because you know, life is never completely an upwards climb. There's like ups and downs, and lots of downs and lots of ups, and some days you're feeling okay, some days you're not. So I was wondering if maybe you guys might want to see that life vlog, and if not, if you think it's gonna be boring and too, maybe, I don't know, boring or too revealing of me as a person, if you don't want to see that, that's okay, I won't post it. But if you guys are interested in seeing that, on January 1st, 2020, it'll mark exactly a year on the day that my husband and I separated. Would that be something you guys might want to see? I don't know. It's a few months away yet. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'm gonna get right into, I have a whole list of things so that I don't go on too much of a tangent. So I'm gonna try and be as concise and as clear as I possibly can with the things that I'm trying to share to you guys. I'm hoping my experience will also help you. Maybe you can resonate in the same way. Maybe you've gone through a similar breakup or another kind of heartache. You know, pain is pain. No matter the situation of every individual, pain is pain, and it's all real for every single one of us. So I don't know, maybe if you feel you can learn from this video, then please keep on watching. If not, and if you are maybe disgusted by emotional displays, then maybe please just click away and watch another one of my whole other videos. They're not all like this. In fact, majority of them are not like this. But anyway, these things that I'm going to be sharing are the things that I have been doing in order to try and allow myself to heal. So the first thing is I have been allowing myself to be sad. Sadness is real. You don't have happiness without sadness in life. Recognizing that this sadness is real, this pain, this grief is legitimate, and I'm allowing myself to be sad. There are days when I just don't feel like doing anything. The motivation is incredibly low. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to fix my hair. I don't want to brush my teeth, put on makeup, or any of that sort of thing. And that's okay. As long as it's not consecutive days in a row that I allow myself to do that, it's a perfect, normal human reaction to feel like that, especially after the ending of a marriage. I mean, like, I can't be bouncy, bright, and happy every single day now, can I? So the first thing is I am allowing myself to be sad. In those moments where I'm just sad and I want to cry, when I see things that remind me of my relationship and the ending of it and the happiness that I did have from that relationship, when I see those things, I feel sad and I acknowledge it. Oh shit, I'm not gonna be able to get through this video. I've realized that it's very important for me to acknowledge this grief, to acknowledge this sadness, and be like, it's not gonna last forever. It's not always going to be like this. Those days, I just allow myself to be sad. I will eat junk food, I will listen to sad songs, I will take a nap through the day if I want to. But I'm also aware that number two is I do not allow myself to continue being sad. So number one is allow myself to be sad. Number two, I don't allow myself to be sad in so many consecutive days because it's all in the mind. Allowing myself to keep on being sad is what then I know will lead to depression, because I have been there before. There was maybe a week, 2 weeks where I allowed myself to continue being sad. What that led to was some incredibly massive panic attacks and anxiety attacks while I was at work. So usually when I'm at work, I'm able to forget about it for a little while. I'm able to escape from the pain and grief that is my current existence for this year of 2019. But then throughout that time when I allowed myself to keep on being sad, it was still continuing on while I was at work. And that brings me to number three, is that work has been an absolute lifesaver for me. That's why I didn't want to allow myself to keep on being sad, because if I was being sad at work, then there was absolutely going to be no escape for me from work and home and work and home. I was just going to be depressed all the time. So that brings me to number three, is that in the last 7 months, other than my normal roster days off, my weekends, I haven't taken a single day off work. And while that might be unhealthy for some people, like a form of repression or a form of not accepting the situation, or like trying to escape the grief instead of trying to face it and use it as a coping mechanism, I viewed work as my coping mechanism. So I wasn't trying to run away from the grief. I was using work as the schedule, the rooster in the morning, the thing that keeps me on the straight and narrow and keeps me consistent with my schedule. It kept discipline in my life, because you know, when you're feeling sad, emotional, you don't want to go to work, basically. You just don't want to have to put a smile on your face and perform. But that is what I made myself do. I had to be at work anyway, so I'm gonna make the most of it. I have been doing my absolute best to still perform in the way that I'm expected to, even though I have been going through some of the most painful and difficult situations in my life that I think I have ever gone through. So that was number three. I haven't missed a single day off work in the last 7 months. There have been a couple days where I did go home sick, but I was actually legit, like, physical sick. I think that might have also been an offspring problem from all the stress that I have been trying to deal with and cope with this year as well. But you know what, it's winter here in Australia right now. People get sick. I have several injuries from my previous job in my shoulder and my neck and in my right arm that flare up when it gets cold, and those are the things that made me go home on those 2 separate occasions. But I haven't missed a single day of work caused by my poor mental state. this year. Number 4 is that I determined to myself that I was not going to miss a single upload here on my YouTube channel. So I'm the sort of person that I have to determine that I'm going to do things if I actually want to go ahead and do things. So I have to plan things. I'm not one of those people who are like, okay, I'm gonna do this right here, right now, and it is gonna happen. No, I have to tell myself over and over and over again that I'm not going to do this, or I am gonna do this, and that is what makes me either do them or don't do them. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I determined that I'm not going to miss a single scheduled upload here on my YouTube channel. And you know what? In the last 7 months, I haven't. There have been days where I have been incredibly low motivation to film. But if I haven't been motivated to film, then I will at least get a video edited. And that is why I do batch filming for my videos, so that on the days that I am feeling good, I will film as many videos as I possibly can, so that on the days that I'm not feeling too crash hot, I can just edit them and I don't have to perform being happy on camera. Even when I'm not feeling 100% great, I am still working on my YouTube channel, whether it's doing research for the next video I'm gonna film or editing a video that I have pre-filmed. I am always doing whatever I can for my YouTube channel in majority of my spare time. So that brings me to number 5. YouTube for me is what is going to be my future. I have decided it's going to be what I do as a full-time job in a few years from now. So I determined that this is my destiny and this is what I am going to do. That purple's a little bit patchy. Coming right up. Alright, I'm gonna use something else. So I recognize that I am the master of my destiny. I'm responsible for my life. Whatever happens for me in my life, I'm responsible. If I want something to happen, I gotta make it happen. I gotta make these opportunities arise for me. And I gotta recognize them and be the one to grab them. Nothing is going to plop itself in my lap, because that has not been my lot in life. Things don't just happen for me. I have to make things happen for me. So that's what I have determined. Nothing's going to stop me now. I am also responsible for my own happiness. I'm gonna chase that and try and be aware of everything else along the way. Be aware of my mental health, be aware of my happiness, be aware of how it's affecting other people around me. Having this pain in my soul is giving me that fire to channel it into healthy ways that I can move on. No one else is responsible for me. No one else is gonna look after me except myself, and that's okay. And that's a reality of life. And you know, if anyone along the way gives me a helping hand, I would be so grateful and say thank you, but I'm not going to sit here waiting for handouts, because those things don't happen in real life. They might for other people, but not for me. Number 6 for me is that I decided that nothing was going to stop me to do what I have been planning to do all this time. My ex-husband and I were this close to buying a house and starting a family together. But when we separated, I decided that that wasn't going to stop me from what I had planned. So I went ahead and bought a house. Well, not a house. I bought a 2-bedroom unit and a study. It's got this study, which is what I'm filming in right now. And I'm so incredibly blessed to have this. I just remind myself that every day, how lucky I am to have this space. But anyway, I decided that this setback hiccup wasn't going to stop me, so I went ahead and bought a house. Now, it might have given me a little bit of a setback in having a family, because obviously ideally you would want a partner in order to have a family. But that didn't stop me from buying a house. I never dreamt or thought I would be doing it on my own as a single person, but you know what, there was nothing stopping me from doing it because I was already financially able to do that, so I went ahead and did that. I'm still hoping for a family one day, but that didn't happen, and I'm getting to the point where I can just say, and that's okay, because it will happen one day, and just not when I thought it was going to. So number 7 is that I do things that make me happy. I am trying my very best to just live in the moment, enjoy the sunshine, instead of thinking, oh, I gotta edit this video right here, right now, because you know I need to get at least one done for today. If the sun is shining, I'm gonna damn well sit outside in my backyard and enjoy the sun while it's out. Other things that make me happy is just to potter around the house, and I might not necessarily be doing very much, but just pottering around the house, getting a little bit of work done here and there, tidying up, making my space happy, making my space personal and my own. I've been a little less tight with money and allowing myself to buy some flowers to put on my dining table, allowing myself to buy some houseplants to brighten up a corner in my room. You know, these are little things that I recognize make me happy, and so I need to actually do them instead of being so uptight with my money or uptight with my time, and just being a little bit more flexible and living in the moment. So whatever it is that might make you happy, whether it's going out for a walk or enjoying nature or buying houseplants and styling up a corner in your house, as long as it's not shopping and things that put you in a real financial stress, because that's not a good situation. As long as these little things, you know, there's always those little moments that will bring you joy, bring you happiness, and recognize those moments. It's really important to recognize them and to acknowledge them and to enjoy them. So the next time you're doing something and you think, damn, this is really good, I really enjoy this, that makes you happy, do those things more often. It's so important to recognize these things and to do them. Okay, I better get a move on with the rest of my face, because this face ain't gonna do itself. Okay, number 8 is probably a really big thing for me. It is difficult for me to actually even put this on camera out in the world, because then that makes me accountable to actually do these things. But number 8 is to challenge myself, punch fear in the face, and just go ahead and do things that I would not normally do. Now, I don't know why I'm afraid of public transport. It actually gives me legitimate anxiety. I do not know why. People use public transport every day. They arrive at their destination. What I'm afraid of is that if I get on a train, maybe I fall asleep, or I've gotten on the wrong train, or, you know, actually no, you don't know, these are really stupid fears. Is there anyone else afraid of public transport? Please let me know that I'm not the only one. But I'm worried, I'm afraid that I'm going to end up somewhere where I don't want to be. But this year I decided that I was going to face that fear and challenge that fear. So earlier this year, I took a train down to the big city and I was fine. My friend met me on the other end and I didn't end up where I didn't want to be, and it was fine. I was fine. And I know deep down that I will be fine. The train isn't gonna crash. If I get on a train to Melbourne, I will end up in Melbourne. It's a really irrational fear, but it is a real one for me. Also, later this afternoon, I'm going to be taking the train again to a nearby town to have dinner with some friends at the pub. And I know I'm going to be fine as long as I get on the right train and get off at the right stop. I mean, I will be fine. Another thing that actually gives me the same type of fear is driving long distances. Me personally, if I was going with someone, I'm fine. I will go with them anywhere. As long as someone else is driving, someone else is in charge of the navigation, I'm there. I'll go with you anywhere. I've challenged myself this year that I am going to do that at least once and tell myself I'm going to be okay. I will be okay. So I planned to take a couple days of work to go down to the coast and just spend a few days there. And that brings me to number 9. I know I just said before I haven't taken any days off work, but number 9 is, for me, I really needed to recognize when I needed to take some time off. Now, I didn't actually do this on my own. My boss is kind of the person who gave me that gentle push to take this time off. I wasn't coping very well and she could see that. And she called me aside and she said, I think you need to take some time off work. So I have planned to take a couple days off work in between my 2 separate days off. So I've got 4 days off altogether. And I'm going to go down to the coast, just take some time for myself to regroup. And this drive is going to be about 2.5 hours away. So that refers back to number 8, is punching fear in the face and just doing things that I wouldn't normally do. I know I'm going to be fine. I'm just worried that my little car might maybe break down along the way. But you know what? If it happens, it happens. And I've got roadside assistance with my car insurance as well anyway, so I'm actually looking forward to this weekend away. I think it's going to be some good time off to reflect. I probably will still be vlogging the whole entire trip away because I can't not do some work while I'm going away. I'm actually using the Juvia's Place foundations and I'm just mixing a few of them. I couldn't for the life of me find my exact shade. I think it is actually time for me to take this time off. I didn't want to take time off initially when the separation first initially occurred because I was afraid to be by myself. I knew I needed to be around people, and so that's what I did. I didn't take time off work. I still planned some social activities and I made sure that I was around people. And if I had taken time off work, I would have just been at home and probably not set myself on the right track towards emotional healing and mental health. Mental health is so incredibly important, especially when you're going through something like this, like a breakup, the separation. So like I was saying, I still plan social activities. It was so important for me to be around people. I still make an effort to make time for my friends and go out for dinner, have people over here. And now I'm in my own home, I can have people over for dinner. It's just been one of those things I think that have been the biggest thing that has helped me throughout the last 7 months. As busy as my life is, trying to balance work and running a YouTube channel, I recognize that it is so incredibly important to still make time for your friends. While being single is not what I thought I was going to be right now, in all honesty, I thought I was going to be pregnant by now. But since being single right now is my current lot in life, it's not what I wanted to be. But you know what? It is what it is. So I'm going to make the most of it. So when I go out and hang out with friends, if there is an opportunity for me to flirt and practice my game, I'm gonna do it. And while for some people, you might think that's a little bit insensitive, like, oh girl, you just broke up.
You've been in a long-term relationship.
You were in fact married.
And you're not even quite divorced yet.
And there's all these thoughts that come through my mind that are trying to guilt trip me from even the thought of trying to move on. But you know what? I can't go back. Staying in one spot emotionally is not healthy, so I'm going to move forward. And if entertaining the thought of being with someone else is going to help me move forward, then I'm going to do that, as long as I'm not hurting myself or hurting someone else or directly hurting my previous relationship, because I don't want to hurt him. He's a good man. We are both trying to be incredibly thoughtful of each other and be kind in the way that we still interact, because it's a very small town. We've got the same group of friends, and so I'm still trying to be thoughtful of him and him of me. I'm still trying to move on. I cannot stay in the one spot because that is not healthy at all. So if I get a chance to practice my game, I'm gonna do it, you know? And so those are the things that have kind of been helping me cope throughout my separation. In the last 7 months, these are the things that have been giving me the motivation to keep on going, giving me the will to live. I haven't been suicidal, but I have had some incredibly dark, depressing thoughts in the last 7 months. And these are the things that have been helping me cope with my breakup, my separation, and impending divorce. So that's that. Now, I have obviously not quite finished my face yet. I'm doing my best to try and pace my list with the pace of things that I'm talking about here. I'm so sorry. This video is going to be so very long, but I hope you guys don't mind that. I hope you guys enjoy this type of video. I'm going to take this moment right now to say, if you do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the bell because I put out 3 videos every single week. So now I'm going to go into bronzer, highlight, contour, blush, all of that. But while I'm doing all that, I want to talk about the things that I have learned in this last year. The first thing that I have learned and actually really recognized is that I cannot make things happen. Life is a journey, you know? Some things will fall into place, some things will happen naturally. There's planning and there's goal setting, and then there's taking the steps towards allowing these things to happen and to fall into place. But then you cannot make things happen, especially when it comes to a marriage or a relationship or whatever type of relationship you're in. When it's the two of you, you need to have the same common goals, desires. Your methods and the way of getting to that same common goal might be different. You might have disagreements about that, but you will get there together eventually. Now, I learned that I was trying to force things to happen because they weren't happening naturally. There were warning signs, but ultimately my ex-husband and I don't think we wanted the same thing, or maybe his journey to the same thing was going to take a whole lot longer than my direction. And sometimes we all just need to go and take our own journey. And I feel like maybe that's what he has gone and decided to do, separate from me. And that's okay. We all have our own journey. We all live and learn, you know? That's the first thing I learned, is that I cannot make things happen. Some things should happen naturally, especially when you get married and you think you're well on the way to having a family and buying a home. If these things don't actually happen because your partner doesn't desire the same thing as you, then maybe he doesn't actually want the same thing as you, or he or she, or I don't know, whatever situation you're in. Some things should just happen naturally because you have the same common desire. And if you don't have the same common desire, these are things that I cannot force to happen. It is what it is. Sometimes you just learn them a little bit too late. You know, shit gets real and comes down to crunch time. It comes down to actually doing these things. You find out you don't actually want to do the same thing right now or ever, and that's when you realize that you cannot make these things happen, because it's not going to happen no matter how hard you try and make it happen. So that's what I learned. Can't make things happen. Another thing I've learned is that I need to be a little bit more flexible with my life, maybe, because I had a plan, I had a timeline, I had everything planned out. I was going to be in a relationship, we were gonna get married, we were gonna buy a house, we were gonna have a family, and we were gonna settle down. That was my timeline. But I've learned that sometimes things don't always happen when you want them to happen. As it turns out, everything that I planned in that timeline that I just told you, nothing has happened to plan. I met someone, we got married, we broke up, I bought a house, and family isn't even anywhere in sight right now. And so I've learned that things don't always happen when you want them to happen, no matter how hard you try. I thought I had all my ducks lined up. I thought I'd put in place all the steps, all the right things. I thought I did everything that I was supposed to do, and it still didn't happen. So that brings me back to number one, you can't make things happen. And number two is things don't always happen to plan. Some things might happen that you have planned, but not in the way you planned. And I'm learning that, so acutely learning that. What is life? What is life? Life is a funny thing. It goes in roller coasters. It takes you in places you never even dreamed or imagined you would be. I'm out of breath. The second thing that I've learned throughout all of this is to be grateful. I have learned that I need to continually recognize the things that I am grateful for. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know that a few months ago, I did a 30 days of gratitude challenge where every single day for 30 days, I posted 3 things that I was grateful for. What that taught me to do was to be able to look through the darkness and the storm and the clouds and still recognize the blessings in my life. So while life hasn't exactly gone to plan, not everything has happened the way I have wanted it to happen, but there are still so many things that I am grateful for. And that's what I recognized in doing this 30 days of gratitude challenge. It is so important to continually recognize your blessings. It gives you a positive mindset. It gives you a positive outlook on life. And no matter how tough you think you might have it, there is always someone out there who has it tougher than you. And I just keep reminding myself that, you know? And that's what doing the 30 days of gratitude challenge challenged me to do. No matter how difficult or sad my life might seem right now, I'm still incredibly blessed. I have you guys, I have my YouTube channel, I have my home, I have all this makeup, I've got my friends, I've got my job, I've got my family, I've got the sunshine right now, I have the ways and means to be able to purchase this makeup, I've got all the plants in my home, I have things that do make me happy. I have my health. Recognizing these things really puts everything else into perspective, like life isn't that bad, well for me anyway. And having the attitude of gratitude has really made me a lot more aware of the blessings in my life. Another thing that I have learned this year is that I am a lot more emotionally vulnerable. I used to be really tough and cynical about life and people in general. I think that might also be partly because of the fact that I do work in hospitality, and when you deal with enough stupid, you get to be pretty cynical. Any of you hospitality workers will know exactly what I'm talking about. You deal with so much stupid, and being cynical also gives you less compassion and patience with people, so much less compassion. But what I have learned this year is that I'm so much more emotionally vulnerable. Things make me cry now. I could watch the saddest movie. What is that movie that had, not Emily Blunt. Anyway, if I remember what it is, I gotta do a bit of Googling to try and remember what it is. It was the story of this girl that fell in love with this guy, and he was a paraplegic, and he ended up deciding to go with euthanasia, and she fell in love with him, but he didn't want to give her that sad life. Anyway, and he died. Anyway, in the end, he died. And I sat through that movie without shedding a single tear. I sat there and I was like, it's a sad story, but you know, I guess shit happens. But now, if I were to sit through that movie, it would probably make me bawl my eyes out. I have become so emotionally vulnerable. This year, I have become more aware about the feelings of other people. If a customer maybe, for example, has come into work and they're really rude, and maybe they look like they're having a bad day, and maybe they're taking it out on their customer service attendant, aka me, I try and be a little bit more understanding. Maybe they're going through some shit. Maybe they're going through something similar that I went through. You never know what I can't talk and do this at the same time. You never know what other people are going through, and going through all this pain and heartache myself has made me a lot more understanding of what someone else might be going through. You never know what anyone else is going through behind the scenes. Even here on social media, on Instagram, on my YouTube videos, I might seem all happy and bouncy and roses and all that, but you never know what's going on in here, in someone else's mind. They might be struggling with depression, they might be going through the death of a family member, they might be going through a really difficult breakup or family abuse or whatever. You never know what someone is going through, and them reflecting their negativity on you isn't a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. And maybe you being a positive person and trying to be understanding and caring and thoughtful and empathetic, maybe that's going to be the turning point in their life. You never know how you're going to affect other people. And so that's what I'm trying to be a little bit more aware of, is to try and just be more understanding of people. Just try and be a better person. I'm trying to be more aware of how I speak to people. I'm gonna put some eyeliner on. I probably won't be able to talk while doing that, but I'm doing my best to complain less. I'm just gonna do my eyeliner, and I can't talk and do eyeliner at the same time. I also went ahead and did lip liner because I can't talk and do lip liner at the same time. Another thing I have found that this pain and heartbreak has changed me in a good way. It's made me more compassionate towards those people struggling with a mental illness or anxiety and depression. It's made me a little bit more understanding of what they might be going through. Because, you know, through life, through work, through friends, through social circles, I actually learned to recognize the signs of what may be an anxiety attack. Someone might be behaving in a way that I recognize might actually be anxiety manifesting itself right in that moment. And so it's made me a lot more aware and compassionate of the people who struggled with mental illness. These people don't need to be pushed and pressed because it's not going to help them. What they really do need is for you to not stand over there and be like, hey, come here, this is where you need to be. But instead they need you to come to where they are right there and say, you're going to be okay, everything's going to be okay, you're gonna get through this, and just show them a little bit of compassion and some love. Sometimes people just need some love, you know? And not sometimes, everyone always just needs some love. Not only have I become more aware of the way that I treat those who struggle with mental illness, but also the way that I interact with those who are partners of those people. Also being more kind, more understanding, more empathetic, because I have been there and it is not an easy situation to be in. In fact, it's a really painful situation to be in. You feel really helpless. You don't know what to do. You feel like you want to take that pain, that mental screaming pain away from them. You want to take it on yourself, but you can't. You can't do anything. You feel really helpless. You want to help your partner. You want to help your husband. I wanted to help my husband, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't understand. And so having been in that situation has made me more understanding of others. Okay, I really got to wrap up this video. And so this brings me to the very last thing that I have learned, and I have learned well, is that I cannot change people. No matter how hard I try, or how hard I try and help them, or put them on the right path, I cannot change people. If it's not happening naturally, don't force it to happen. That's what I learned. I can't force people, I can't change people, I can't make up their minds for them. And that's the last thing that really hit home for me this year and throughout my separation. And so while I cannot change people, what I can do myself, you know, when they say if you want to make change, you start with yourself. Well, yeah, I know it's cliche, but I have learned in order to make change happen, I gotta start with myself. And so what I could do was to be loving, to be kind, to be compassionate, just to be a good person to other people, you know? Show some love, show some positivity. It can never go wrong. You never know what other people are going through. Sometimes it's all well and good to speak positively and be like, yeah, you know, be kind, be generous, be grateful, and, you know, the pain is still real, the emotional pain is still there, the heartbreak is still there, and I don't think that's gonna go away. The only thing that's actually really gonna make that go away is time, and I need to give myself time, be kind to myself. And if you're going through the same thing, then that's all I can encourage you to do, is to be kind to yourself. Don't guilt trip yourself. I know it's so easy to fall into the trap of being like, oh, I should have done this, I could have done this, it was my fault that this went wrong in the relationship. It's happened, you can't change what has happened. It is what it is, and what happens here on out is completely up to you. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I managed to finish this look. I'm sorry this video was so very long. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means the world to me that you guys watch my videos. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say a very deep, heartfelt thank you to those of you who are new here to the Kikay family, for hitting that subscribe button, for joining here, and for watching my videos. I really truly appreciate you. And those of you who are always coming back, commenting on my videos first as soon as they go live, always being there on my videos, I'm so incredibly thankful for you guys. I could not do this without you. I would not have the reason to do this YouTube channel without you guys. So I just want to let you know you are appreciated. I'm so thankful for you. You are very much loved. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Please feel free to share this video if you think it might be able to help others, or if you know someone who is struggling with the same thing, maybe this video might help them. Please feel free to share it. You can also hit the notification bell because I put out 3 videos every week. They're not all going to be like this, I promise. You can also follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of them are lifeaskikay. Again, thank you so much for choosing to spend your time here with me today. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!